Folks, Golden Ticket Cinemas is now a drive-in theater until further notice. So load the car and head to downtown Lenore for an experience of the movies past. Jaws and Jurassic Park open this week, July 3rd. The double feature starts at sunset, and they are sold out Friday already. So get your tickets and come down to the Golden Ticket Cinemas. More information at gtcinemas.com.
Why are you licking my gobstopper?
Strike that. Reverse it.
Nazi punks!
Lick my plate!
Drainage! There'll be 10 minutes where it's like a Steven Soderbergh Ocean's 11 movie. It's all slick and funny and stuff. Then just the most horrific shit imaginable will happen.
It's because that's what the fucking movie's about, you asshole.
This fucking guy.
The Tree of Life is freaking awesome.
I'm sure you think it is.
Fade it to black.
Oh, you are fucking this up.
Neon slime.
Gangster movie douchebag. Well, forget about it. Yeah, forget about
Being a
it.
cinematique where I like, I like the sets and I like all that stuff.
What did you say? Cinematique?
I don't know.
Jared Leto, man.
You're the worst, dude. If you ever listen to this, Jared Leto, you are the fucking worst. I'd rather watch that dude, the English dude, who looks like he's not done yet.
This movie is the opposite of Getting Lucky.
Thank you to all our listeners who have been listening to us for over a year now. Subscribe to us on Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and any other platform that has podcasts. Visit our Patreon page, become a Patreon to get more additional content. Again, we appreciate you listening and keep watching those movies. Now, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Wall, Lee Bridges, and Garrick Lane, this is Tales from the Video Store.
An AI leading robot for some sci-fi movie that they're being able to film now because it's a freaking robot. So here we go again with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, welcome to Tales from the Video Store, number 78. We've already...
78?
I know, right?
Jesus Christ, we gotta slow down.
78.
That's, wow.
And still only 5 listeners.
That's a big number.
We appreciate the loyalty. Just kidding. Yeah, it is a big number. Wait till it's 100. That's coming soon, dude. That's like by the end of the summer, we will be at number 100.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were discussing something. What happened? Winona Ryder?
She basically the other day was doing some interview and said that on the set of Dracula there was a scene where she was supposed to cry and she couldn't cry, and that Francis Ford Coppola told Keanu and all these other people in the scene to say like really mean things to her to get her upset, and that it didn't work, and then Coppola was like, that's not what happened, and kind of basically said that he told Gary Oldman to whisper some stuff to her, and that's all that happened. And then she concurred with him and was like, yeah, that's what happened, sorry. So, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that she's crazy, or...?
She was probably, I don't know, yeah. But, I mean, Coppola he would do stuff like that, like, if a character was supposed to look uncomfortable and he didn't like the way they were acting, he would just, like, get a big rock and tape it to their back and have them lean against the chair.
Yeah.
Like, he comes from that sort of, like, there's actually in, I can't remember what movie it is, but there's a Sam Peckinpah movie where the actress wasn't crying, so he told her dad died, and they just rolled cameras. So he's not that bad.
No, I guess it's like method directing, right?
Right, exactly. You know,
Well,
I mean, you can say he's being an asshole, but at the same time, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars a day going out the door.
Right, and if he gets the look he's looking for, the reaction that he's looking for, then I guess it's worth it, right?
Well, it's Stanley Kubrick did that to, oh, God, I just lost her name.
I know. Oh,
Shelley Duvall?
Shelley Duvall in The Shining the whole time. Just had her nerves shot, apparently, like, mentally damaged her for the rest of her life. Just trying to keep her in that just trying to keep that character for her throughout that movie.
It's all about the art, baby. It's all about the art.
So he can't get away with that now. He'd be sued and put in jail.
Probably.
It'd be harassment of some sort.
And the movie and the story would.
You paying me $4 million to co-star with Jack Nicholson. You can do whatever you want to me. You could give me electroshock. I'd be all right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll take it. Give it to me. All right. Well, speaking of electroshock, we're going to go as far away from Colorado and the Overlook Hotel as we could possibly go. We're going to go into the bayous of Louisiana for this week's movie, Southern Comfort. A Walter Hill special. Lee, you wanna let everybody know what movie we are talking about?
Absolutely. It comes from 1981, and it's Walter Hill. The movie he picked it right before 48 Hours. And it's a group of National Guard reservists who, they go on patrols once a month. These guys aren't really soldiers. I mean, they're weekend cowboys, They're, I wouldn't compare them to like the guys in, Platoon or anything. And they're going on this overnight weekend training mission in the swamps of Louisiana, and they get lost. And they see some canoes that belong to some local Cajun fishermen, and they just decide to borrow them because they're going to bring them back. But as soon as they get in the boat, everything goes wrong. Shots get fired. The commanding officer gets killed. They're in the middle of nowhere. They don't have a map. And they're probably only about 5 miles from civilization. But being 5 miles from civilization in the middle of the Louisiana swamp is like being in the middle of nowhere. And it's basically just they have to survive these 2 days against these Cajun fishermen and hunters who are now trying to kill them. To basically, they turn on each other. They, the everything's against them. Each other, the Cajuns, the weather, hell of survival. And it's I really enjoy it. It's not my favorite Walter Hill movie, but that's I think it's a really well made movie.
Hey, it's Deliverance meets Full Metal Jacket, the first half of the movie, minus the hillbilly butt rape.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah. And Sonny Langdon from The Predator is the hunter. Come on,
He is the hunter. Yep.
Come on. It's got Powers Booth, Keith Carradine, Fred Ward, Frankie Seals. I mean, that's just Peter Coyote gets his head blown off. Byron James, one of the best bad guys ever.
Yeah.
I like the movie too, man. It was a little bit like, okay, all these guys, there was some parts, and it's not my favorite Walter Hill film, but I really, really did like it. I felt like it just has that, it's got the 80s feel. It's got, it's got the kind of movie I grew up with. And, hey, let me ask you though, do you think they really did that pig in, or do you think that was fake? See,
that was real.
Oh yeah, they straight up they skinned and gutted that pig right there, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
They can't do that anymore.
Talk about something that wouldn't happen in a movie now.
Crazy. Yeah, so I liked it. However, I think that Doug did not.
Really?
Well, I don't know. You sent me that GIF, because I was like, dude, I really like this movie. And
no. I thought it was a cool movie. I mean, these guys, like I say, they're weekend warriors. Like, before they go on this maneuver, they're talking about getting prostitutes and what they're going to do, the next, later on when they're done doing their army stuff.
Yeah.
And, one of the guys...
This is just an excuse to hang out.
Right. Yeah. And one of the guys, they all have blanks. They have machine guns and heavy artillery, but they're all blanks. Well, one guy has a magazine of live rounds. And when they get on the canoe and they're like halfway across the water, they see these locals come up to where the canoes were. And they're like, hey, we're going to bring them back. And one of the guys that's with them, who, a couple of these guys are really insane.
Yeah.
They're not just like a little bit crazy. Like, a couple of these part-time soldiers are really kind of absolutely crazy. And one of the guys turns a .50 caliber machine gun at the guys and just starts blasting blanks at them. And that's kind of where everything really escalates. And then moments later,
You ain't gonna do that to us.
well, moments later, one of their buddies gets their head popped off. You know?
Colonel.
And at that point, it's like, uh-oh. And, you know, I thought it was cool. I didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. I really like, there's a scene where they've kind of got, because once they've been in here for a while, some of the guys end up dying, and they bury these guys, and they put their guns in the ground with their helmets on top, and then they find the bodies again, like dug up, and they're hanging up, and then the next thing you know, they're assaulted by all these trees. These guys have kind of fashioned the trees to kind of fall to try and take them out and scare them. I mean, I thought it was a really cool scene. I thought it was a really cool movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only odd thing about it to me is Brian Jones, he plays like this Creole guy. They come to his house and basically burn it blow it up for really... Yeah. Just for really no reason. And the guy, he won't speak English. He's just talking French to them, and nobody speaks any French. And then later on in the movie, he speaks to them in perfect English. So they make it out like maybe these guys don't understand what's going on, but as the movie comes to a close, you kind of see that they knew exactly what was going on the whole time. They understood exactly what was going on, and they chose to do this anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so as bad as the soldiers were, these Creole guys in the woods, they were just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, because
they could have stopped it
they were
at any
killing
time.
people.
Yeah, they didn't. None of this had to happen.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
they just decided.
I did thought that Byron Jones, when his house blows up, he should have just turned to him and goes, "Where am I supposed to live now?"
Yeah. Don't touch my P-row. And you know, but. Outside of the kind of craziness of some of the soldiers, because they're only in the woods for one night, man, and the way some of these guys are acting, you'd think they've been there for like 3 weeks. I mean, they just mentally broke like really quick. And like I say, they're not real soldiers. They're just average citizens. But still, that was a little bit much, I kind of felt like. But all in all, man, I dug it, man. 90 minutes of good fun. Powers Booth and Fred Ward and Keith Carradine and T.K. Carter, all these guys that were in it, I thought they were all good.
Yeah, I kind of felt that Peter Coyote, he was the only one who was probably an actual soldier. Like they said, he'd been in Vietnam, he had like Purple Hearts and all this stuff. And of course, he's the first one to get killed.
I was going to say, of course, he's the first one to get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their
he
leader
probably could have de-escalated the situation.
Yeah, their leader, Casper, was the worst.
Oh, yeah.
He was just the worst. I so wanted him to die. Because he just had no idea what was going on the whole time, and but all in all, man, I enjoyed it. I had a really like funky ending.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not really sure. It was just an odd ending. You know, when they finally kind of see some people and they see like a truck pull up with like a big white star on the side of it, and see an American flag, and I don't know. It was just an odd feeling end to it.
The slow-mo and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
I like the dancing though.
Supposed to be like how they feel. Like
I like the final.
Moment, you know?
I like the finale though, intercutting with the Cajun dancing and the pig getting gutted. The way they were cutting that in and out in the chase.
Yeah.
What did the little man think?
Okay. I am like a different kind of. I am a kind of different feeling.
Yeah, different feelings.
But I mean, kind of like
because you weren't born in the 1980s.
Yeah,
like us three.
But I mean, I enjoyed it. Most of the parts, it was okay. I kind of liked it. I agree with them. The ending was kind of weird, or it was better than I expected.
Let me ask you something, River. Could you put yourself in the shoes of these soldiers and imagine these crazy rednecks chasing you?
No, not really.
You couldn't.
No.
That I think because I can totally put myself in those soldiers' shoes, and they're carrying guns that don't have bullets that work, and it's just like, what are we doing?
It could have been us going out, you know, on a weekend in high school and getting blasted, getting drunk out on a rock somewhere, four miles in on the trail, Blue Ridge Parkway, and these guys just decide they're going to get us.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it. And us not being able to do anything, being able to figure out a way to get out or anything. Oh, yeah. I think that's the...
And also, I've spent time and worked with people who just make the world's worst decisions, like the guy who fired the gun at the Cajuns.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Really, they should have just killed that guy right then and there.
Yeah, that guy was. Like I say,
He was the worst.
He was the worst. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like half the guys were of sound mind and they made sound decisions, and the other half of these guys were just batshit. Like if that's who the National Guard is, then we're in trouble because those guys are insane.
Right. Yeah.
But cool movie. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think maybe I saw this sometime in the mid '80s, but I don't think I've revisited it since.
I remember it playing real heavily on TV in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
Like you would see it like on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And Walter Hill, he refused to let the actors, like when they would be interviewed about it, he refused to let them, because people would ask him constantly, is this movie like a metaphor for Vietnam? And he refused to let the actors mention Vietnam. Because as we talked about before, if you talk about the subtext, it becomes meaningless.
Right.
Like the movie's, it's an action movie, but I would say at the end of the day, it's, in some ways about our response to Vietnam. But he doesn't want to, I think Walter Hill's the type of guy, he wants people to come to that conclusion themselves.
Yeah.
Really, he just wants to entertain them. But yeah, very cool movie.
One thing
it's a shame that...
Go ahead, Lee.
I say it's a shame that not only do movies like this not get made anymore, but filmmakers like Walter Hill don't exist anymore. Like we talked about with John Milius.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
That sort of super macho type of filmmaker.
Sam Peckinpah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and Sam Peckinpah was the one he hired Walter Hill to write the original Getaway. That was sort of Hill's mentor.
Yep.
I did find something interesting about this movie. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but in the late 80s in Iran,
yes,
they broadcast this movie called Operation Lagoon. They shortened the movie to about 95 minutes, and basically it's supposed to, they changed the story to where it's about a group of U.S. soldiers who opposed the Vietnam War and are sent on a mission among manhunters, like while they're being hunted.
Yeah.
And it's basically like it's by the U.S. government is doing this.
Yeah.
And
the government's killing them.
Right. And in the end, when the remaining two soldiers suppose a U.S. Army truck is approaching to save them, the picture fades and a voice of constant shouting is heard, indicating the U.S. authorities have killed all the soldiers they intended to kill. Just like anti-U.S. propaganda in the late 80s using a movie from 1981, I thought was really a neat kind of tidbit about this movie that I didn't know anything about until I researched it just a little bit. Fucking Iranians.
Yeah.
But anyway. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Which soldier was it that you didn't want to die and died? I liked Alan Altree, the big dude.
I didn't really care. I mean,
T.K. Carter probably deserved it the least.
Yeah, and
he didn't really do anything.
He didn't do anything.
He's talking, he was just walking the guy. And he got it the worst too with the trap. Of course, the black guy gets the worst death.
Trap right to the chest.
Back in the 80s, imagine that.
Yeah.
And he talking all cagey, he's all talking, and then BAM! Poor guy.
I like Fred Ward. His character in this is kind of a prick, but dude, I love that guy, man.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
I don't see how he and Powers Booth weren't ever bigger stars. That's just crazy, Yeah.
It was
they are so cool. Like Powers Booth, like even in this movie that's so chaotic, he's still cool as a cucumber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, he is. It's awesome. It's awesome. Deliverance was released 9 years earlier. So it wasn't a movie that was, Deliverance was so good, let's do another Louisiana caper.
No, I think this was just his own thing, just a...
You could never sell this movie today.
I think you could.
You think you could?
Yeah.
Let's remake it.
Because I watched one that was a little bit, not the same thing, but kind of similar. And some of the things I watched this past week, so...
Well, it was shot on... See, this is back too, man, where things were... There was more money. It was actually shot on the Louisiana Bayou and in Texas. Mm-hmm. Whereas now they take it to Toronto and find some kind of semi-quasi swap and shoot it there.
Yeah, I mean, it looked real. It felt real.
Yeah, it felt real.
You know,
Yeah.
when they get to the town, you know, and it's just this little shanty town, and they're out there drinking beer and playing music and singing. I mean, it felt real. Like, I imagine that places like that still exist out in the bayou somewhere.
Sure.
You know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I love that they got the actors to do it just by telling them that it was winter and all the gators would be asleep.
Yeah.
Like, they're just walking through the swamp. Like, you know, They were like, they're probably all hibernating. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. It'd be great. We got one guy looking. We got one guy with binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Southern Comfort, it's on Prime. Check it out. It is worth your 2 hours. It's a good movie. Especially if you were born in my generation. Generation X, 1972 to 78. You'll love this movie.
Yeah.
100%. All right, well, you watched some other stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay? Give it to me.
Okay, man, I once again, I had a rough week, man. I'm telling you. I just can't find good movies anymore.
I figured what it is. It's because right now, because you're not working, it's like you have nothing to lose and you're picking just whatever.
I'm just willing to watch anything.
Right, whereas when you're really pressed for time and you know you only have 2 hours to watch one movie, you are better selective.
I would agree with that. Yeah. So the first thing I watched was The Turning.
Oh yes.
Which is
I saw that.
Oh, you did?
I think I did. I don't remember anything about it.
Well, here's the thing. I really feel like I let you guys down on this one because I don't know what happens.
No, I have a freaking clue.
I don't know what happens. Wolfgang Puck from Stranger Things, the fucking kid, is just a little asshole who...
It's still turning then. It never really stopped turning.
It's still turning. He's just like this weird kid. This daughter and this brother live at this massive estate, and they get like a nanny teacher to come and live with them, and then just weird stuff happens. That's all.
It's nothing.
Yeah, it's really nothing. Like, I remember seeing a part where I thought they got away, and then the next thing I know, they're like back in the house, and it's like rehashing stuff that had happened earlier in the movie, and it just completely lost me. I mean, I hate when that happens, but it happened. That's how bad The Turning is. It's just atrocious. But I don't think it's the worst movie that I watched. I think the worst movie that I watched was Terminator Dark Fate. Or as I like to call it, El Terminito. It was just so pointless. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to switch all the characters around and use different actors and different names for things, but it's basically the exact same movie. And it really has nothing to do with anything that's happened before, which didn't make any sense to me either. Like, it's not Skynet now, it's Legion. And apparently, Mexico, I guess they're like...
I haven't seen it.
They're leading the world in AI technology, I suppose, because that's where this apparently comes from, this Legion, which is just like Skynet, but different.
Right.
And there's like a girl that comes that's supposed to be Reese, but she's not. She's
the worst part.
She's Grace, and she's like some mechanic. She's like a cyborg, and Sarah Connor just kind of shows up, really for no reason whatsoever. Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. I don't know where he came from again, but at some point, I guess they lied to me about Edward Furlong being in this, because he wasn't. They used like a digital image of him for about 3 seconds before he gets shot in the back.
Right.
And basically it's just the same old retelling, same story, but just with different people in it, I guess trying to be diverse, and I just wish if you're going to take on this and come back and say, well, this is the third one, after T2, then have it actually have some kind of anything to do with the first two movies, because it really didn't. I mean, Schwarzenegger...
I think what they were trying to say... Go ahead.
Schwarzenegger's character made like blinds. He was like a blinds guy. Like he would go to people's houses and like put blinds in people's rooms. And it made no sense at all. I mean, it had some cool looking action scenes, but story wise, it was just awful. It might be the worst one I've ever seen in that same.
They're all bad. After James Cameron's second one, they're all bad.
Yeah. The last thing I watched is a new release, a new Amazon Prime movie called 7500.
Wait. The last thing you watched, it's only 3 movies. How's that possible?
Well, and then I do have The Manager's Choice as well.
Yeah.
This is a 2019 movie starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, directed by and written by Patrick Volrath. And it is just a nightmare scenario about basically like a co-pilot. And they're flying just a short flight from Berlin to Paris. And, you know, since 9/11, they have like these massive unopenable doors to the cockpit, right? So people can't get in there. You have to buzz people in. And the stewardess comes to bring them, you know, their food for the night and something to drink. And some terrorists bust in there and attack the pilot and the co-pilot with these like glass wrapped in tape like shanks. And he gets his arm all cut up. The pilot gets stabbed a few times. So basically, he's in there one-armed, trying to control the plane, trying to talk to the people outside, and trying to keep the terrorists out. It's just one of those nightmare scenarios. You know, you're just like,
Good?
yeah, it's okay. It's nothing like.
Sounds good. Good premise.
Yeah, it sounds.
It's pretty cool. It's okay. It kind of like it definitely kind of crescendos a little early. Like the middle of the movie is kind of like the height point of it, and then kind of the last 30 minutes it kind of slows down a little bit, and it's not as, I don't know, it's just kind of meh. You know, not terrible. It's still fine. It's just one of those like nerve-wracking, like, you know, just watching these and you're like, oh my God, what would I do in this scenario kind of deal. But it looks good. I hadn't seen Joseph Gordon-Levitt in anything in a while for some reason. I've always really loved the guy. I think he's a super talented guy. I mean, not just as an actor, but he does all kinds of stuff with art and music, and I've just always really liked him. And it was nice to see him in something. And, you know, it's not, like I say, I'm not going to say it's a great movie, but it's a solid B minus, you know. I think we haven't seen these kinds of movies in some time simply because of what the country, I guess, has been through. And, you know, making movies about terrorists hijacking planes in the 70s and 80s, I mean, that happened all the time, and we really haven't seen anything like that, you know, making a movie like that in some time. And, you know, solid B minus. Not the best thing I've ever seen, not the worst.
What's it called, 7500?
It's called 7500. I guess that's the name of the flight.
Well, I know, but what's it on?
It's on Amazon Prime. It's an Amazon Prime original.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's like 90 minutes. Like I say, it's not the best thing I've ever seen. Certainly not the worst. You know, you get the action that you're expecting in it. You know, and it is very nerve-wracking. Like some of the scenes, you're just like, oh my God, like what is happening?
End, yes,
end, yeah.
Scene, end.
Yeah. So that's what I watched.
Okay, Lee, what'd you watch?
I only watched a few things. I watched a documentary series on Disney Plus about the Mandalorian called The Gallery.
Oh yeah.
And it's like there's one episode that just deals with the directors, one with the actors, one with the set designers, the practical effects, and and it's very well done. If you like the Mandalorian, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah,
and,
I watched the first two. It was very awesome.
Yeah, very good.
How got through the process.
Yeah. And I watched. I had another HBO free trial on Amazon Prime.
Imagine just keep getting those free trials.
Exactly.
That's how he does it.
Yeah. And I watched I just happened to turn it on just basically out of sheer curiosity. Was the pilot for the new Perry Mason show?
What'd you think about it?
And it was much different than I thought it was going to be. There's a dead baby within like the first 2 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's it takes place in I think 31, and it's just he's more a private detective than he is a lawyer at this point, and it has to do with like sort of dealing with like doing PI work, spying on Hollywood stars for the studios so they can like get them to reduce their paycheck and everything. And he's just basically a scumbag, but it's probably a little grittier than it needs to be. Like you could tell they were going pretty hard for some grittiness. Like I said, yeah, like less than 2 minutes in, you see there's just a kidnapping, and when the parents get the baby back, it's just dead and its eyes are sewn open for some reason, which I'm sure will come into play later. And it was okay, though. If I had HBO, I would watch another episode. And the only other thing, I rewatched a couple movies. I rewatched, after it was... James Mangold is going to be the new director of the Indiana Jones franchise, and so I decided to rewatch Ford versus Ferrari, which I watched a couple months ago, and I probably enjoyed it more the second time than I did the first.
It's at the top of my list. Like I keep.
Yeah, very, very well made movie.
You know what?
And I could give a damn about the race at Le Mans, but it contextualizes it so well that it's not really about the race. It's about the guys trying to make the car they want, despite the corporate influence.
I'm gonna watch it over the weekend, man. I've heard lots of good things. What you think? Doug just mouthed to me that he'd watched.
Yeah, I forgot. It was one of the ones that I watched. I forgot.
Is it good?
I didn't like it as much as Lee did. I would say it was okay, but it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's not really a movie about racing, which I think is what people, I guess it's more about them designing the car than anything.
Yeah, I mean, basically Ferrari owned Le Mans, and well, they still do, and in the late 60s, Ford put together a run where they won it 4 years in a row, starting with this thing with Shelby. And that's it. They have not competed, well, they've competed, but they have not won it since. So, I don't know what, it's not like it was really a changing of the guard. Like, they won it for 4 years and then went back into obscurity. And I remember Lee said something about it's like the little guy versus like the big corporation or whatever. But really, Ferrari is the little corporation, and Ford is like this multi-billion-dollar that's spitting out all these cars, and they fight tooth and nail and with each other to be able to make something that can compete and ultimately win. But it was short-lived.
I'm gonna check it out then.
And Bale, man, he's just, is he one of the top 2 or 3 actors of our generation? I mean, my God, dude.
He's great in this.
Everything he does, dude, he is that guy.
He is good.
Yeah.
And in this, it's the same thing. He's just perfect.
He's like the Daniel Day-Lewis of...
I think they're very similar, man. Very similar.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Yeah, not terrible. Not terrible. I'm not saying it's terrible.
For Academy Awards.
It looks great.
You won't see me get on here and go, well, it wasn't cut well.
No. It looks great. And
it looks like a movie from the 60s. Yeah. Like there's nothing about it that looks that modern.
Right, so yeah, it's like lots of tripod shots, lots of just regular frames and things like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not like it's not
like a Michael Bay movie.
Not in a flashy way, but I mean that is a good way. Like it's not, there's no like car POV or anything.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well said.
It's all.
I love it then. If there's no Michael Bay shots where the camera spins around Matt Damon and Christian Bale in a moment of dramatic interpretation, then I'll love it.
Yeah.
Well,
but the only thing is, I rewatched the movie. I watch at least once a year. I rewatched Midnight Run.
Nice.
Oh, that's
which is yeah. That's a movie that is just it's pretty much I won't say it's a perfect movie, but it's
pretty close
as far as that type of action comedy. I don't know that it can be done much better than that. That's what I watched. That's it.
River, what'd you watch, man?
God, man. From Lee's watched from last week, I watched Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla.
Oh no!
Jesus! I don't understand how you can get a movie like this made, or whatever it is. Like, I can't even understand what it is.
Because Bela Lugosi was a big star, and they would make anything. I mean, we could get Matt Damon. We could probably have Christian Bale looking at grass growing for 2 hours.
And sell it.
Somebody would give us money to do that.
River, let me ask you a question.
What?
Do you think that Plan 9 from Outer Space is a better movie than that?
Yes, it is. I think it is way better than this. That is, it's just...
Wow.
No. No.
You think the gorilla movie is... you think Plan 9 is better than the gorilla movie?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's a movie.
Oh.
It has like a beginning, it's a terrible movie that is a movie.
So
this is not really a movie.
I'm assuming this is the worst thing that you have ever watched.
Yes.
Is this number one on your...
Yes.
This is
Probably.
the worst thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen?
probably. Yep.
Okay.
And then Dad told me about Crawl. It was on Prime.
Yeah. Movie about the
alligators in the house in the hurricane. It was okay. Not the best thing ever, not the worst. I liked the...
Really? Lee liked that movie.
Well, I did like it. I just didn't like it a lot. It's not one of my favorite movies like Jaws is. But overall pretty good movie.
It was really good to see in the theater.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty... I like that. River said Jaws is one of his favorite movies. See,
Absolutely.
Most kids, Jaws isn't going to be their favorite movie. Deep Blue,
7 hours.
47 meters down is going to be their favorite movie.
Well,
that's cool. What else you see?
Out of all of them, this one was probably one of the middle ones. Not that great. I watched 2019's Child's Play.
You know what? I watched that too.
God,
Shit.
Really?
Dude.
I watched it a couple weeks ago.
You watch so many you guys watch so many movies you can't even keep up.
Well, a lot of times I'll have something on at 11 o'clock at night. I might fall asleep watching it or whatever, just something on the TV. But yeah, I did watch this a while back.
Okay, so what's your take? Terrible?
It's not as good as the first one, like the original one. It tries too hard. I think it tries really hard. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna have to completely disagree with you on this.
Oh, really?
I thought that the way that they did this was nothing like the original, and I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was okay. But
Going into something like that and thinking you're going to hate it, and then not hating it, I guess being slightly pleasantly surprised. Like I say, it's not anything great. It's nothing to write home about. But if you're going to remake something, have an original way of doing it. And I thought that they did that successfully in this. And the doll is creepy as all get out, man. It's...
like Doug said, 90% of it is an animatronic doll.
Yeah.
It's mostly practical.
Yeah,
it is mostly practical?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of the kills are real, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the present, the head on the stick, it's one of my favorite kills in that movie. It was awesome. Yeah.
That was a little bit of a sleeper. It's one that I was like, man, this is going to be terrible. And I was like, not that bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst movie.
I probably... Because I've watched the original Child's Play in the last year, I would say that I like the remake more. And that's not usual. Especially nowadays. More times than not, the remakes are just horrible. But I thought this one was actually pretty good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Is it good or is it not?
It is good, but it's not the best.
Okay.
Like, it's not the best.
So here are the rules on Tales from Video Store if you want to keep doing it. You stick to your opinion. If you don't like a movie and Doug likes it, who cares what he thinks?
I know, but I didn't.
I knew that.
Even though I
What are you
changed,
talking about?
I change Garrick's mind all the
You think your
time.
opinion so much.
Yeah, Dad. Now you want to say something now?
What?
You're like a freaking pancake. You flip around so much. Jesus Christ.
Yes, you're full
That's
of
the whole
shit.
reason I said that. Come on. Go, stay with me here. I was going somewhere with that. Yes. Yeah, no, but see, I remember you also, we watched Child's Play at the house. And yeah, it's, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't compare.
The new one.
I didn't like the first one, so. Like,
Oh, I like that one. That one. I
Chucky
chose.
can kiss my ass. I could care less.
Yeah,
It's the stupidest thing ever. I mean, it really is the dumbest thing ever. Like, as if a man in a hockey mask that keeps dying and coming back killing people is ridiculous. A animatronic doll that kills people is the most absurd thing ever.
No.
Yes.
No.
It's the stupidest shit ever.
That's not what the original was. The original, remember, it's like voodoo, and this killer, his soul gets put into this doll.
Yeah,
and this one, this is strictly about the AI going wrong. Again. You know, it's a robot that is like, it's like Alexa. It's like it's tuned into your everything in your house.
Oh.
This new age.
That's it. Wow, let me just flip flop then. Cool. I can't wait to see that.
There you go.
I just can't wait to see it.
Not the worst, I'm just saying.
What else you watch, River?
Jeez. I watched, I don't know if this is 2020 or 2019, I didn't write this down, but Knives Out just came out on Prime.
Yes.
Yeah, I think everybody's reviewed that one. What'd you think?
Well, it was what I expected. An okay, like, clue, mystery. Not perfect, not awful.
Some people love it. Some people love that movie, man.
Yeah, I don't really
Some people love it,
understand.
and then some people just dislike it completely.
I liked it because of how, like, it was like Clue. I like that because I like Clue. And I just,
Whodunit. It's a whodunit.
yeah, really.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, I only watched one thing.
You watched one thing.
I watched one thing. I have been really busy, and I'm sorry. I've been really busy. I've had to do a lot of late night working and stuff, and I just haven't had time. But the one I watched is a cinematique.
Right, here we
Across
go.
the boards, it is a minor masterpiece. It is Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. Oh, and I even had I don't know what that is. Anyway, it is Steven Spielberg's Lincoln, written by Tony Kushner. Daniel Day-Lewis plays Abraham Lincoln. It's star-studded cast: David Stratham, Sally Field, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, James Spader as W.N. Bilbo. Every scene he's in, he steals the show.
I gotta say, I'm a big Spader guy.
Yeah,
Always loved James Spader.
he's hilarious in this. Hal Holbrook, Tommy Lee Jones. This movie is, this movie is it's fantastic. It was fantastic.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've never watched it. Simply because, what's the runtime on this?
2 hours and 30 minutes.
I just can't do it.
Well, that's fine.
I mean, you know, it's one of those that it's like, well, of course you've seen that, but I have not. I just can't make myself watch it.
Well, it is superb. In fact, I hadn't seen it in a very long time, but now as an older man, like, it may be on the top half.
God, here we go.
Here
we go.
It may be on the top half of Steven Spielberg's
Lee, you want to talk him out of this real quick?
I've not seen it, but we need to get Garrick into some sort of clinic, because obviously his mind is going,
Dad.
some sort of, early stage dementia or something.
But will you tell me that? So please don't tell me that you're comparing this to Jurassic Park and Jaws. Please don't tell me.
I didn't say that. I said his dramatic movies.
Oh, okay.
Like Schindler's List is. Can everybody agree that Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List is probably one of his best movies, or not?
I agree. It's a very. I put it in the top 10.
What's your favorite Steven Spielberg movie minus Jaws?
Minus Jaws?
Private Ryan?
Let's see here.
Dude, that's a tough one. I threw everybody off.
It's easy.
Jurassic Park.
It's Raiders.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
It's not even close. Like, what are you doing right now?
I don't, Raiders is my favorite movie of all time. Shoot, I forgot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you talking about?
I was asking Lee and Jaws.
Lee knows. He knows it's Raiders. He just...
See, I was thinking trying to think.
Yeah, his dramatic movie, his Oscar winners, his Oscar contenders.
Right.
Saving Private Ryan was great. Lincoln was great.
Hell, I like Munich.
Yeah, I liked Munich too. Not as much as I like. So yeah, I liked Munich, but I like Lincoln better. Lincoln was just good, man. It was good. Daniel Day-Lewis is. I mean, he is Abraham Lincoln.
Is it? Okay, let me ask you this, because I know you're such
all the sets are fantastic.
No.
All
just because you're such a huge fan of his, if he is not Lincoln and it's someone else, and everything else is the exact same, are you still sitting here telling me that it's in your top 10 favorite movies of all time suddenly?
I didn't say that. I didn't say it was in the top 10. You put. Are you a Democrat? You're a Democrat sitting here putting words.
Oh, I'm certainly not a Democrat.
Fake news, man.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I just said it was good.
The top half
of top Spielberg movies.
Right.
Yes. It was great. Okay. Practical sets, star-studded cast. It was great.
Fantastic.
There was not much action, but the scenes went by.
What's it about?
It's just about Lincoln from his second term trying to get the bill passed for the Emancipation Proclamation.
Okay.
And then up to his death. Then he gets it up to his death. But it's basically the process.
They kill him in the movie? Is that the end?
Yeah. But they don't show it, but it's right as it happens. He kind of walks out of the room.
And like the credits.
Knows, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But it's really good, man. It's really good. For a period piece. You know I love that shit.
I know you do.
That's all I want.
He double features it with Warhorse.
Yeah, that's another one I haven't seen. I own on Blu-ray and have never opened it.
I got a couple of those in my cabinet as well. I'm like, where did this even come from?
When did I buy this?
Yeah.
What is happening?
I don't know. Crazy.
So that's all I watched.
Okay.
Well, you got a manager's choice before I get into this fun.
I have another manager's choice for you people out there, by God. I watched this the other night. I had zero expectations about it. It was a very controversial title, The Hunt, that was delayed last year because I'm really not sure why it was delayed, to be quite honest with you. I've seen movies like this before, and basically this group of like far left political people get a bunch of far right political people, not politicians, just people who are very vocal, and they take these far right guys and they drop them off in this field in the middle of nowhere, and they leave like this big box that's full of guns, and then they hunt them. And it was hilarious. It was violent. It was weird. But I really enjoyed it. The Hunt.
It's everything you want in a movie.
It's 90 minutes. Yeah, man. It's like you don't have to think. You just sit back and enjoy it. And I enjoyed every bit of it. I thought it was exactly what I wanted it to be, or what I hoped it would be. I wasn't sure if it would be, and it was. The Hunt.
Check it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check it out. Okay.
Did you guys see in the news? Did you guys see in the news where Charlize Theron called Steven Seagal a fat ass and said that he never knew how to fight? He would just push people.
I did see that.
That's not really all that surprising to me.
But it's the truth, though. He really did. His Aikido sucked. He really was just.
There's a famous story where he was talking to a stunt guy who was a judo black belt. And he told the stunt guy that because his Aikido skills were so high, that it was impossible for him to be choked out. He could not be choked unconscious. And the stunt guy was like, well, that's ridiculous. Everybody's a person. If you choke someone long enough, they'll go unconscious. And he's like, nope. He said, I cannot be choked unconscious. And so apparently Steven Seagal willingly allowed himself to be choked. And then not only did he become unconscious, he shit his pants in front of everyone on the set of Executive Decision.
Wow.
That seems about right.
Apparently he's just a giant douchebag.
Yeah. And in the late 80s, early 90s, I actually liked some of his movies, some of his earlier works, I thought it was fine. I loved seeing him do, like, his knife fights and all that stuff. I thought that was always cool, but as his career,
Yeah. Everything after Under Siege is incredibly suspect.
It's really bad, yeah.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he looks like he looked like he ate himself.
Yeah.
And, and I can't
He was in...
I can't remember the last thing I've seen him in that was...
Machete. He was in Machete.
He was...
Yeah.
The only cool movie that he was in that I ever enjoyed was the one that he died really quick, Executive Decision. Like, that caught me off guard when Kurt Russell looks at him and goes, you're not going to make it. And he goes, yeah, but you will. And he closes the door, and I'm like, did Steven Seagal just die 5 minutes into this movie?
How awesome is that?
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right, well, that's it for this. You got some news?
I don't know. Have you got some news?
I do. I actually do have something cool. Starting July 3rd, the Golden Ticket, I don't know if... I know we have listeners all over the globe. Knock on wood. But...
Do we?
Well, I sure hope.
Okay.
Okay, or we don't. Or we have 3 viewers, and they're all in North Carolina. So if the 3 viewers are in North Carolina, Roy Cooper just said... mandatory, everybody's got to wear masks.
Even you, Garrick.
Which has prolonged, which has actually suspended Phase 3, which would have allowed people to go back to the movies. So, Golden Ticket Cinemas, one of our sponsors, has taken matters into their own hands and built a drive-through, or drive-in movie outside in the parking lot of their theater, and are going to start doing movies on July 3rd, where you pull up, you watch the movie, and you tune into something on your phone, and the phone gives you the sound. There'll be details, I'll put it up on the website, but yes, theaters have decided, and they're not the first. There are other theaters that are like, well, hell, if we can't get them to come inside, we'll bring it to them. So they're literally building makeshift projectors, putting it in front of the building and using the parking lot as the drive-in movie.
Okay.
Golden Ticket will be doing that July 3rd. So, get back out to the movies.
So we need to go see something there.
Yeah, we need to go support our theaters. So
I don't know
what movies coming out. I don't even know what
there aren't
movies.
any movies, but they may play double features like Jurassic Park and what was it, Jaws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things like this. They may be playing, which is even better to go into the drive-in. I mean, could you imagine a Howard the Duck, the Goonies back-to-back at a drive-in? That was terrible. Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the Goonies, or the Goonies and Raiders? The Goonies and Star Wars.
Yeah.
The Goonies. I saw the Goonies drive-in.
Okay.
So, anyway, it's happening, man. There people are going to find ways to...
Well, they're going to have to scrape something together, man, because the reality is and I said this several weeks ago, man, I just don't know how long movie theaters are going to be able to last in this environment. Unless something changes as far as medical, like some kind of a vaccine or at least something where you can actually kind of fight this COVID. I just think they're going to have a hard time getting people to come into movie theaters. Even if they, have seating things and all that, just being in enclosed spaces like that, I just think people are not going to want to do that. And
people like Garrick don't care.
Well,
there are lots of people.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the movie theaters, of course, continue to do what they've always done. But I just don't see how they're going to be able to. So it's nice to see them at least trying something, and if they're willing to try it, then I'm willing to come out and support.
Hey, Garrick, maybe you'll luck out and they'll show Lincoln.
Yeah. Back to back. Link in the Thin Red Line and go fuck yourself. How about that? I'm a triple feature, asshole.
Make sure you bring your jammies because you'd be out in about 30 minutes.
Dude, are you kidding me? A Phantom Thread, Thin Red Line, double feature in a car? Yeah, I would probably take the muffler.
You'll be the only one in the parking lot, my friend. You don't have to tape the muffler. You can have your windows down and crank up your phone, bring a speaker. Nobody's going to care.
All right, there you go. Drive-in movies are coming back. Hey, is your favorite movie rental video or your video store, are they reopened, Lee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're open.
I think Family Video just reopened, so
Yeah.
It reopened a few weeks back.
so there you go. There's still ways to get movies. Well, maybe next week I'll be able to watch some more stuff. I'm starting to slow down. Got a little bit crazy.
What
Yes.
are we? Go ahead.
River's raising his hand like he's still in school.
That's good.
Well, you told me not to
All right,
interrupt.
you're good. I'm just calling you out,
But
man.
the new Mulan's coming out in 3 weeks. I'm excited to see that.
What are they going to do? They're going to put it on Disney Plus?
No, I thought they were going to put it on the drive-in thing, or they could put it on Disney Plus. They put some other movie.
Mulan?
Yeah, the
Well,
new
right
Mulan.
now, have you seen the prices? If you want to watch a movie that they're releasing, it's $19.99 to buy.
No, that's to rent.
watch. That's right, to rent.
That's
Scoob, this new Scooby-Doo animated movie. It's
I'm not doing
$19.99.
No,
To rent.
not doing that.
Not happening. So they may do. I don't foresee Disney doing that. I think Disney will push it back. I think it'll be Christmas, and even after that.
I don't know. The only movie I can think of that I even remotely care about that I've heard that's coming out at some point is Tenet.
Yeah, the new Nolan movie.
And the new James Bond. And outside of that, I don't even know what's happening with the other movies.
Well, everything's just now starting back in production.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
I've wondered. There's a couple of logistics companies out there just getting paid tons of money to sit around and go, all right, how can we get these movies?
Yeah.
How can we monetize the movies that we've caught in the can so they're not sitting around? So, anyway. All right, well, what's next week?
Next week is a movie I've never seen, but I've heard of it. It's a movie called The Losers from, I think, 1971.
All right, The Losers, 1971. Oh, we're still working on the Man of the Mission. Working on Man of the Mission block, which I have not changed out the video. I've been pretty busy, but I will get up a cool new Facebook cover. A little late, but I'll get it up. And then we've got also, we will be posting up a nice graphic to the Patreon page. For every $1 donated, Doug Wall will watch a crappy movie. So
The movie was 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah, I'm going to give him a threshold from 0 to 5%.
Okay, that's fair.
Hey, that's not fair for him to do 0. So I'll say even up to 9.
Okay.
Minus the Emoji Movie, you can't give him that. I'll give you your $1 back if you send me $1 and say, Doug, watch the Emoji Movie.
I've already seen it. So it doesn't matter.
You're good.
I've already seen
That's
it.
a free $1, man.
I've already done it.
So we'll get,
send in that $1, folks.
yeah, send in that $1, man, and Doug will watch a crappy movie just for you.
And tell you all about it.
Tell you all about it. That's it for this week. Thanks, folks. Thanks for listening to the Tales from the Video Store podcast. If you enjoy our show every week, take out a couple of minutes and write us a review. Simply go to your podcast icon, click on it, scroll in your library till you find the purple and pink neon sign, click on it, scroll down past our episodes, hit the stars, write a review. It really helps us out. It helps us deliver a new show to you each week. And again, thank you so much for listening to Tales from the Video Store podcast. For more information, go to videostoretales.com. Thanks again.